Welcome to another episode of the Be Wise Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Y. Wright. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let's grow the channel. So anyway, this show today is just kind of way off what I normally talk about, but you probably never heard of Lady Victoria Hervey. If you've seen this lady anywhere, let me know, okay? I never heard of her. I happen to be scrolling through YouTube videos as I do every night, and I happened to pass Piers Morgan. I didn't know anyone on the panel, but I stopped because she looked kind of weird and intriguing to me. So let me give you a little background. So she's this English model socialite. Like she's like the former It girl. As you can see, she's a little older now. Probably was pretty beautiful when she was younger. She's the daughter of Victor Hervey, the sixth Marquess of Bristol. She's expressed support for Brexit. You know, this is reform of the UK. She describes herself as like this link between British politics and the MAGA movement. Very, very pro-Trump. She even wanted to create their newest slogan called Make England Great Again. So she's known for her past relationships with Prince Andrew. She's remained a vocal defender of him after the Epstein files. He came out in that. So she's just all over the place. I saw her on Piers Morgan, and I was like, let's see what this lady has to say, right? As I said, she had this past relationship with Prince Andrew, which is no longer exists. Prince Andrew seems to be quite the player, I guess, right? But she says that the Duke of York was set up or either poorly advised. I don't know. So she's all into the Epstein files, and this is why I stopped, because I realized, a lot of people, sometimes we're in our bubble in the U.S. and we tend to think that this Epstein file thing is a domestic problem, like it's a U.S. thing because it was Palm Beach and Epstein Island. But Epstein is deeply entangled with Israel and Britain and France and all of these different, countries and state leaders. And so we're not alone, if you know what I mean. So the 2026, unredacted Epstein files came out, and this lady, Victoria Hervey, she defended Andrew's presence in the documents like till no end. She went in hard for him. And he was mentioned 173 times. And she was saying, hey, he's a single man. He needs to date. And she argued that he also trusted Epstein to kind of like hook him up, introduce him to beautiful women. Moving my camera around. Sorry about that. Bumped it. Wanted Epstein to introduce him to beautiful women. And she didn't, suspect any criminal activity. And when I show you on Piers Morgan how she goes in hard, you're going to get an idea what I'm talking about. And one of the clips is extremely, extremely funny. By the way, she also made this claim in early this year that Jeffrey Epstein might still be alive, and he's currently living in Israel. She thinks Israel is deeply entangled in a conspiracy revolving Epstein. I think she's been watching a lot of Tucker, a lot of Candace Owens, and she's also forming opinions from that. And so she watches a lot of American journalism and podcasts and YouTube videos. And I tell you, man, she's admitted that her own name has appeared in the Epstein files 23 times. But she says, it's only because I'm a journalist. And I'm frequently mentioned when other big names are mentioned or when I'm writing about the case. So yes, I'm in the Epstein files. And when she talks to Piers about this, it's one of the funniest pieces of journalism that I've ever seen. What else did she claim? Oh, she said something about that the photo with Prince Andrew with his arm around Virginia Giuffre and Ghislaine Maxwell was in the background. She said it's a fake. She suggested it, was created using body doubles and all this digital editing. Despite the photograph being widely accepted as authentic by investigators, she said, bull hockey. She doesn't believe it. And when the death of Virginia Giuffre was reported, Harvey even went as far to say, well, when the lies catch up with you, there's no way out. And people was like, good Lord, this lady has no qualms about just being hardcore. Anyway, I want to watch some clips from this show, and they are quite hilarious. But the funniest one was this one that I'm going to show you, when she told Piers Morgan that he's in the files. So can you imagine if you thought you read all the files, because there's a lot of pages, but you don't think you're in the files, but someone not only tells you that, but they tell you that on your show. And everybody's watching, and Piers is just like baffled. It's the funniest piece of media or journalism I've seen in a long time.
All of you. Well, Lady Victoria Hervey, let me start with you, because last time you were on Uncensored, we discussed the infamous picture of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and Virginia Giuffre, and you said this.
Andrew has never carried a wallet in his life. He's got a wallet in his back pocket. There's many pictures of Jeffrey Epstein with the same trousers. Jeffrey did carry a big wallet in his back pocket.
So you're saying the picture was faked?
There's nothing real about this image, Piers.
Well, what is the motive?
Because I want this guy to stay alive.
But who is
everyone
what is the
dying
motive
in this case?
What is the motive of the person who, in your view, falsified this photograph?
Oh, well, they were taking down the royal family, weren't they?
Well, who were?
Maybe Israel. Who knows?
So you see, she said maybe Israel. She's all into the Israel conspiracy, but she's going in hard. I can't say she's defending Epstein. She's just saying that we got it all wrong. It's continue.
So we now know from the document dump last Friday that Ghislaine Maxwell sent an email to Epstein, said in 2001, I was in London when Virginia Giuffre met a number of friends of mine, including Prince Andrew. A photograph was taken, as I imagined she wanted to show it to friends and family. That is clear confirmation that Ghislaine Maxwell, who's in that picture, knew that picture had been taken and it was genuine. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to now apologise for saying that it was a fake, because clearly you were wrong.
Are you kidding? Come on, Piers. You know me better than that. So I spoke to Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer about that. It was a draft statement that had actually been written by a PR person. It was not ever approved by Ghislaine, hence it was never used for anything, and it just sat there as a draft, and it ended up, look, everything ended up in the Epstein files, all right? Like, I'm even in your file.
Okay, look at his face.
You're in what, sorry?
I'm in your Epstein file.
What Epstein file?
Well, you're in it, obviously, because you're not a loser.
Well, we're going to...
Okay. Piers is like, what the hell are you talking about? You're in the files. Like, can you imagine being Piers at this point? Oh my God, continue.
I'm going to come to that ridiculous statement in a moment, but what are you referring to?
I'm referring to you being in the Epstein files, of course.
For what?
Just, you know, being at a drinks party, possibly with Ghislaine, just talking about you. You must have read it, surely.
Yeah, that's not in the files.
It is in the files.
No, that was from her deposition
No, it's
months
not.
ago.
I promise you.
No, it's not in. It's not in the files.
I saw it in the file. I've read your whole file.
You can literally search all 3 million documents in people's names. I'm not.
Piers is like confused. You know what he's thinking? Because in the back of his mind right now, he's thinking, did I miss something? Like, am I in the files? And I don't know. And she's just straight face. She's like, no, I promise you, you're in there.
Not in it. The picture you're talking about, the picture.
You're in the Epstein files.
Do it after the show. Do it after the show. The only connection I've ever had to either of them, as I've said many times, is I met Ghislaine Maxwell for 5 minutes at a book launch in New York. She was then asked about that in her lengthy testimony, and she said under oath that was the only time she ever met me. I never met Epstein or anything else.
But just Google yourself in that government website. You come up quite a lot.
I bet he Googles himself. I can guarantee you when that show's over, because it's YouTube, so they don't take a commercial break. He's like texting his producers, can you Google my name along with the Epstein files? This is crazy journalism. I've never seen anything like this in my life. This is nuts.
No, you're talking about other people talking about me. We're talking about the Epstein file dump that came on Friday.
But exactly. So you've come to my very point when I said if you're not mentioned, you're a loser, because people that are mentioned in it might not have even had affiliation with Jeffrey Epstein. They might never have met him. But the fact is they were mentioned possibly in an email that was sent to him. Hence, they ended up in the Epstein files. Do you get it now?
Well, I don't quite get the point you're making, but in relation to being a loser if you're not in them, do you understand how crass and stupid that looks to people when you say that?
It basically was meant as if you are a mover, if you were like a mover and a shaker in the like high echelons of society internationally, you were in those files. Hence, everybody from Ben Affleck to Matt Damon to Elton John to Meryl Streep, everybody is in those files.
Let me bring in...
Piers, right now, I have to give him credit because he kept his composure, because I would be freaking out. I'd be like, what do you mean I'm in the files? I wouldn't even know where to go at that. But she just had this stern face, like, yeah, I saw it. You're in there, buddy. You're in there. So, oh my God. So then she goes on this rant about sex trafficking and how it doesn't exist. And this is the interpretation that she's gotten from the files, from the FBI, from ABC News. It just really, really gets bizarre. Check it out.
Lady Victoria Hervey, I mean, you've been very steadfast in your support of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, but given what you've now...
That's quite a long name, isn't it?
...been reading... Well, you know, he had all his titles stripped quite rightly, but given what you've now...
Yeah.
Right, but given what you've now seen about what he was up to...
So let me just give you an update. Let me just give you an update. So as of within the last 24 hours, the FBI did a statement and they said, with all the information that they have seen, all the millions of files, everything, they have come to a conclusion that this was not a sex trafficking ring.
Where's that statement?
Let that sink in. It's all over. I sent the link to your producers this morning.
She said, let that sink in. Piers is like, what do you mean it's not a sex trafficking ring? That's all we've been talking about for 20 years. And she just stumped him. He's like, well, I sent it to your producers. You got it. And she is baffling this guy. This is crazy, crazy.
So
no one's been able to find that statement. So you're talking about a statement. Nobody has seen this statement.
The FBI has said, and I will send it to your people afterwards, that it was not. So exactly what I told you in 2019, I said, Piers, these girls were not trafficked. And that word was too strong a word. Anyway, the FBI have recently said this in the last 24 hours. It was not a sex trafficking operation. Yes.
Well, let me bring Spencer.
Poor panel. The rest of the panel is sitting there like, what is she talking about? Like, you have news, ma'am, Miss Harvey, or Lady Victoria, that I have no idea what you're talking about. Zero. No trafficking. She goes on.
Because you'll
Promise
know
you,
better than anybody.
it's out there, and I will,
Spencer
and I
Coogan,
will send
apparently
it
it
to
was
him.
none of this involves sex trafficking, Spencer Coogan.
Look at this guy.
There might have been girls
Yeah.
that were abused. That is not the wording, but it was not
Oh,
it
Thank
was
you.
not a
Thank you
sex
for
trafficking
acknowledging that,
ring.
Miss Harvey.
So
Yeah.
I just want to
I
I just
think-
want to get the right information out there, because there's a lot of disinformation.
Well, yeah, and most of it appears to be coming out of your mouth. I think at the
I
end of the
say
day, what we need to
facts.
remember,
You're
we have-
making money from this.
we have nearly hundreds of young girls under the age of 18 that were sexually abused and trafficked
because you are making
by
money
Jeffrey
from
Epstein,
this.
by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine.
Wait, so he said there's several girls that's been, sexually assaulted and trafficked, whatever. And she said, because you're making money from this. She's accusing the attorney of making up the stories because he's making money from this. I'm telling you, she goes in hard.
Maxwell. Don't forget that we have one woman
Are
who's
you
sitting in
working for
jail,
free?
convicted
How much money did you
convicted.
make from this?
of sex trafficking.
See, yeah, just,
And at the end of the day, I think the problem we have is that we're giving voice to people like Miss Harvey.
I'm
who
not
for
Miss
20
Harvey. I'm Lady
years-
Victoria, actually.
Oh, okay, Miss Harvey.
Giving her no respect whatsoever. I'm Lady Victoria. He says, okay, Miss Harvey. Whew, shots fired.
For 20 years, people have been fighting. These young girls have been fighting to be heard,
Really?
fighting to make sure the world knows what happened to them,
So
fighting
how
for the
much
truth
money
to come
have
out.
you made from this?
And finally, the U.S. government is starting to release the documents that verify what these girls have been saying all along.
The FBI just verified it's not a sex trafficking ring. Okay?
Okay, is this the same FBI that apparently is hiding additional documents and deleting names that are in those
I
documents?
don't
Is it
know,
the
but
same
that's,
FBI that
that's
we're talking
what's
about?
happening.
Here's the problem that we are having with this whole Epstein thing. The FBI is supposed to be, excuse me, the FBI is supposed to be a credible source, as well as our mainstream media. We all know that the perception is that's just not the case. There used to be a time when you said the FBI said or the CIA said, any of those three-letter organizations in America, when they said something or reported something, it was factual. Now everything the FBI says or the CIA says or the DOJ says, it's questioned. And that's a problem. Me, being a supporter of Trump, of course, but once we started with the whole fake news, we have just no trust or confidence in media, and we don't have any trust or confidence in the three-letter organizations, even the IRS. So we have a problem in America. We need to fix that sooner than later.
So
Yeah,
it's out there.
unfortunately, we
Even
don't-
ABC News, which is, not always the most reliable.
Victoria, here's what I just find completely baffling. That even with this
And
unbelievable
they also
document dump-
spoke about
No,
Virginia.
hang on, let me
how
finish.
Virginia lied.
Let me
No,
finish,
this is
please.
huge.
Let me finish, please.
Yeah.
Let me finish. Even notwithstanding a 3 million document dump of files, which reveal the most horrific stuff
Mm-hmm. Which
going
you're
on
in and I'm in.
with
Yeah.
Epstein, with Ghislaine Maxwell, with others, you still involve sex trafficking.
You see how she slipped that in? She said, which you're in and I'm in. I'm sorry, I went too far in the video, but I just wanted you to catch that.
Horrific stuff
Which
going
you're
on
in and I'm in.
with
Yeah.
Epstein, with Ghislaine Maxwell, with others. You still just want to pretend there's nothing to see here. Why?
I'm not pretending there's nothing to see here. I'm just stating what the FBI have come to the conclusion it was not a sex trafficking
Well,
ring.
nobody's seen that.
Which means Ghislaine is in jail for not trafficking to anybody.
Wow. Ghislaine's in jail for nothing. Because she's saying if the FBI is saying that there was no sex trafficking, but Ghislaine Maxwell was found guilty of sex trafficking, then release her. That's fascinating now. That is really fascinating, that point she made. Now, I personally think she's crazy. I have my own opinions about the whole Epstein file debacle, but that's something that probably should be studied. Call me, am I crazy? Am I crazy? I don't know. Check it out.
So she should be released right
She was
away.
found guilty.
But there were no clients. There
She's
was no
serving
client list, Piers. You're not understanding it. I like you a
You're
lot.
not
I think you're a
understanding
very
she
good
was
presenter.
convicted and sent to prison.
I know it's very frustrating
doesn't
for
get
people
it.
like you because it's just like the media has built it up into this huge thing. Yes, obviously Jeffrey Epstein was a spy. Like that is true. Like
So according to her, Jeffrey Epstein was a spy, but he was not a sex trafficker. And Ghislaine Maxwell wasn't a sex trafficker, according to her. This is her interpretation of the news and her sources, that Jeffrey Epstein was in cahoots with Israel, a spy for Israel, but a sex trafficker he was not. And Prince Andrew was a single guy who was just getting hooked up by Epstein. No young girls or no trafficking included. This is what Lady Victoria is saying.
he was working for various different intelligences. We know that. But the fact is, he was not lending out the girls to his friends.
He was.
Really?
We know that he was.
Everybody
We've
knows
seen
he
And
was.
evidence
sir,
We've
he
I
seen
was.
it
don't
in
know
the
what your name
documents.
is, the lawyer, but you obviously made a lot of money from this. Can you tell us what you made from this?
Can you tell us what you've done with Mr. Andrew?
These are just clips from the show. You need to go watch the whole thing because it's like, what are we doing here? It just got crazy. Oh man. Let me see. I believe this is the one. Let me check it out. Oh yeah. So this is where it starts to get a little bit more crazier. And Pierce just can't take it anymore. He just loses his shit over this.
Yeah, I'm
Piers,
afraid Victoria
I
is...
just thought of something else I would just like to put out there because, being in my position, I have been in a position where I have been able to be vocal, and that means that I've had a lot of people reaching out to me with information. A couple of months ago, I had a British girl reach out to me, and she said that her and her friends met Jeffrey Epstein in Virginia the weekend of March 10th, 2001, at the Dorchester Hotel. Virginia lured them to Jeffrey's hotel. She made the girls lie and say that they were 18 years old. One was 13, one was 14. They actually signed NDAs with Virginia, and David Boies paid them off. Now, they're too scared to come out.
Well, unless you've got evidence for any of that, I'm not going to just allow you to spew any cock and bull
true.
conspiracy
Now, I
theory that has
believe
come to your mind.
Once David Boies, it might take to the point where he passes away, and then I feel like the floodgates will open, and all.
Well, you know
these
what?
people,
David Boies might well sue you. David Boies might well sue you over what you've just said.
Well,
it's a
these
very
girls
serious
are in
defamation.
touch with the Metropolitan Police. So what I want to tell you is I'm very much in touch with the police, literally on WhatsApp, and they know a lot of information that you guys are not privy to. But
Do you know what, Victoria? With the greatest respect, I think you talk utter shit.
all right.
And I'm sorry. I've known you a long time. I think you've disappeared down a conspiracy rabbit hole that is frankly
Well, I've
repulsive.
always been right about my conspiracies.
So when I introduced her, I told you she was one of Britain's elite. She was, the big fish with the socialite crowd. I'm trying to liken her to someone in American society. I can't. But imagine if Meryl Streep went off the rails, right? She's a little older, but you take someone like that who's always been in the public spotlight, people just loved being around them. Every major party or event that happened on a red carpet or in a gala or in a ballroom, they were there. And then all of a sudden they kind of go crazy. That's Lady Victoria. you kind of see what I'm saying? And that's what's weird about this whole thing is Piers is like, the only reason you're on my show is because you're like Britain's elite. And you've just lost it over the past 5 or 6 years. And as you see, he says she is utter shit. And they're just going to finish their argument here. It's just...
Victoria, with the greatest of respect, I think you talk utter shit.
All right.
And I'm sorry. I've known you a long time. I think you've disappeared down a conspiracy rabbit hole that is frankly
Well, I've
repulsive.
always been right about my conspiracies. You were wrong about COVID and you were wrong about the vaccine.
You don't give a damn about these girls. You don't give a damn about these victims. You think it's fine to smear all of them. You admit it. You proudly admit it. And I think it's shameful.
Why would I feel sorry for people that are liars?
We now know from these documents just how disgusting this scandal is, and yet still you come on shows like this and you're still in total denial for reasons that completely baffle me.
Can we talk about the quality of girls? So Anushka Georgiou as an example. You know what she did? Like, this is the caliber of person we're talking about. Anushka Georgiou.
Actually, I'm not going to let you smear them. I'm sorry.
She was the girl that set up Tom Parker
No, I'm not going to let you do it.
No,
sorry,
she
cut
did
it,
it.
Mike.
She did that
story.
I'm
not letting you do it. I'm not letting you smear these victims anymore. I'm just not going to let you do it. Just cut her off.
So that was that. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Please meet Lady Victoria Hervey. So if you go to YouTube and you search her name, you'll see a whole lot of media with her on it. She's always invited on the shows in Great Britain. She hasn't touched our airwaves yet in America, but I just found that extremely, extremely interesting. And this is why I got it at the bottom of my post here, my YouTube video here, Pam Bondi, you're not alone, because the way Pam Bondi was going off at the hearings the other day, the House Judicial Committee hearings, I was like, the next day she just took a lot of heat from everybody. So all Pam Bondi needs to do is watch Lady Victoria and she'll go, I am not alone in the craziness. And I defended Pam Bondi a lot. I thought she was up against a no-win situation, but she didn't come out looking great. She didn't come out looking stellar. I thought she came out, she was fighting, but you know what I mean? I just thought that she fought a good fight, but there was no way to win in that room. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, please check out Lady Victoria Hervey. I'm out, man. I'll see you guys on the other side. Take care.